Hello, this is all StreamNet, and this is Kerbal Space Program. So this is a computer game that I haven't played for a little while, and I thought I would give it a shot. Um, so let's go ahead and we're meeting Gene Kerman. He is the flight director, and the guy do a quick introduction. Um, you guys can read all of that if you want to. I've already gone through all of this. I pretty much know what I'm doing. I'll explain as I go along. We've got different buildings. This is the Kerbal Space Center. We have the vehicle assembly building where we will be spending a good amount of our time. That is where you build all of your vehicles that go into space. We've got mission control. We're going to actually go in here right now. This is where all of our contracts are managed. We can have a maximum of 2. So let's go ahead and we gather scientific data from Kerbin. All we have to do is just any scientific experiment on the ground will work and launch the first vessel. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to do those. And by doing these, we get some Kerbucks, and we can also get reputation and science off of these as well. So the reputation of the stars, the little symbol right there is the science, and the one right here is the Kerbucks. So that is what we will get, but we also get an advance. So we get we get our advance, and then we get money upon completion as well. So we now have all the contracts. So let's leave that facility. The space plane hangar. This is where you will be doing all of the ground. All of the stuff for the ground. We're going to be building rovers as well. So we're going to be doing rovers. We're going to be doing airplanes and all sorts of things. We have the astronaut complex. We're going to go in here. These right here are the available Kerbals that we have. So we have 2 pilots, Jebediah and Valentina. Jebediah will be doing most of our flying for us. We have Bill Kerman as an engineer and Bob Kerman as a scientist. We can also hire more. These are all of the applicants that are available right now. We're not going to hire anybody right now because there's no need, but later on there more than likely will be when we have a bunch of missions going on at the same time. Over here we have the administration building. We're not going to do any of now, but we have different campaigns that we can do. There's stuff to do, to get more finances, stuff for more science, stuff for more public relations, and stuff, for operations as well. But we don't need those right now, so we're still just a very, very new space agency. So we will leave that facility. We have research and development, which we are going to go into right now. And we don't have any science, but this is where we will spend our science. To start, these are all the parts that we have. These right here. So, but once we start getting some science, these are 5 apiece, and we get some decent stuff to start with. So let's go, and we're going to build a quick vessel to get our first launch, and we're also going to put a science experiment on that as well, so we can get our first 2 contracts out of the way. So this is Werner von Kerman. He apparently runs the vehicle assembly building. So he's a chief rocketry engineer. So the first thing that we need is we need to have a capsule, or a pod, and all of your pods are in that top cab. The only pod that we have is the Mark I command pod. So it holds 1 Kerbal, and it's really not that good. We don't have any fuel tanks to start with, but that's fine because we do have a solid fuel booster. So this one is called the Fleet. Now we need some science. Or actually, let's go ahead and go for safety first. We need a Mark 16 parachute. This will allow our pilot to get down safely and allow everything to come down in one piece. Now let's get some stability on here. We have basic fins. One of the things that you want to do is you always want to make sure that everything is balanced. And the way that you can do that, you have your center of mass overlay. That big ball right there is the center of mass. You want to get that as close to the center as you can. got your center of thrust. Right now the center of thrust is below that, which is what we want, and that is actually not going to be too bad. Then the aerodynamic overlay, you want that to be either at or slightly below. That right there will actually work. But what we are going to do is move that up a little bit. If you get that down too far, it's going to flip you backwards. If you get it up too far, it's going to flip you forward. So that right there should actually be good. Now, science. We do have mystery goo. I am going to put 2 on here for the sake of balance. Those are going to go right up top here. Just like that. So what we're going to do, we want to check our staging before we do anything here. The reason you want to check your staging is the way that they have it set right now is you press the launch button and not only will the rocket go, but your parachute will go. The parachute needs to be stage 0. So stage 1 will be the rocket. So the lower it is on the screen or the higher the number is, the earlier that stage will go. So we have that, and let's call this Kerbal Coffin. One. Then we save that, and then we can go and we can launch this. Okay, so here we are at the launch pad. This is where all of our space launches and anything that is suborbital, anything other than anything that doesn't take off with wheels, that doesn't need a runway, will be placed here for takeoff. So let's go ahead and we're going to do our first science experiment. Observe the mystery goo. The goo doesn't seem to be doing much right now. We're going to keep that experiment. We're not going to transmit it. So we're going to do a last check of our staging. You always want to check this. That looks okay. So now we can go up, go return. That looks like a bumpy ride. Jeb is sitting in the control pod. Not really concerned. He's just waiting for this all to be over. So we are doing a little bit of a turn to kind of help a little bit. The way that the planet spins will help us land over the water, and we're going to help it out a little bit by kind of trying to turn ourselves over a little bit. Our solid fuel is now gone. Our surface speed is falling. And once that reaches a certain point, right there, about 68.6 is where that got, and that got to be about 77.5. Or about 7,750 meters above the planet. So now you can see that the altitude up here is now falling again. The surface speed is climbing again. At about probably 2,500 meters, we're going to go ahead and pull our chute. And Jed looks to be enjoying life up there. So and actually, we're going to go ahead and we're going to pull that right about 3,000, just so that way we can avert disaster. So sometimes they'll be falling a little bit quick, and you won't have enough time to slow down. And there's the parachute. And there we go. The parachute has opened, and the surface speed has dropped considerably. We are at under 10 meters a second. we're going to go ahead and before we land, while we're still in the air, we are going to observe the other mystery goo. The goo jiggles and wobbles as the craft flies. So we're going to keep that one. As Jebediah looks around and waits for touchdown in the water. And there we go. It looks like our little wings broke. But other than that, everything is fine. Jeb is alive. The spacecraft is intact. No Kerbals were hurt. So we recovered the vessel. And it looks like we got a total of 15 science. We got 7 for the, or we got 3 for the first, for the first experiment. We got 7 for the second experiment, and for recovering the vessel that survived the flight, we get 5 science. We have a total of 27. So what that means, okay, this is all the parts that were recovered or were used, and that right there is the pilot. So Jeb gained 1 experience point for that, and our total reputation is 24. So we have 27. So what that means is that we likely yes. So we did some things. Gathered scientific data from Kirby. That got us 1. Gather scientific data from Kirby. That got us 1. Launched our first vessel. That got us 1. Launched the first vessel. That got us 1. And world first milestone. So we broke a speed record of 25 meters per second, 80 meters per second, 500 meters, or altitude of 500 meters. Launched the first vessel. I mean, we did quite a bit. So, I mean, we even broke the altitude record of 7,000 meters. We see our, yeah, so our land distance, we've been 3,000 meters on land and 7,000 meters high. And we have no more contracts. So, let's go ahead and leave that facility. And that actually should have gotten us more contracts other than just the 2. So the ones that we want to do some easy ones. We want to do some that are fairly simple. So let's see what this one is. There we go. So, for this one, they want us to haul the Mark 16 parachute, which is the one that we are using right now, into flight above Kerbin. They want it to be 6,000 to 11,000 meters high at 10 meters to 210 meters per second. I believe we can do that. So let's take that. And the other one we're going to do is let's test the swivel. Yes, let's test swivel. So we have our 2 contracts. And let's also go into the research and development. We're going to get basic rocketry. That gets us some cool stuff. And we're going to go into engineering 101. And that will also get us some decouplers. And it will also get, it gets us some pretty good stuff. Stuff that we need. So now we have 17 that we can spend. We're going to use survivability. That is the only one of those that we can afford. Okay, that one unlocks flight control. And that also unlocks basic science. So that there will actually unlock our first battery if we get, once we get that one, and also the Probodobodine Staputnik. So that one there is a basically, I wish they would have this in the beginning so you wouldn't have to risk anybody to launch anything. It gets you some antennas, also gets you the Science Junior, it gets you some pretty cool stuff. So I am looking forward to that, to getting some of that stuff unlocked. So now let's go ahead and go into the vehicle assembly building and let's assemble our second craft. Let's create a new one. And of course, you always have to start with the command pod. We need the Mark 16. Let's also do a decoupler. I think we have decouplers. We do not. Oh, we do. So this is a stack decoupler. So what that does is anything underneath that will be dropped. Now we've got fuel tanks. Let's grab one fuel tank and let's grab the swivel. So that right there will take care of both contracts. We've got we have the Mark 16 parachute and we have the swivel liquid fuel engine. So we can at least do one of those. If we can get to 6,000 meters, then we will have all of them. So, and actually what I'm going to do is I am going to grab a second fuel tank because you never know. And of course we need to have a way to control this. So let's turn those on. That right there. Looks okay. So that is the one we're going to do. And this one we will call Kerbal Experimental 1. Save that, and we're going to check the staging. We've got the rockets, we have the coupler, and we have the parachute. And Jeb will not be going on this flight. We are going to save that, and let's launch. Okay, so we can adjust our throttle as needed. So there we go. Let's take that down a little bit. That will work. That way we're not just wasting fuel. Let's get our SAS and RCS. That will give us a little more stability. Let's hold back a little bit on the speed. Let's see if we can give them exactly what they want here. So once that surface speed goes to 210, we've got what they want. That didn't quite work. Okay, but it actually should work because we should be gaining speed now. So let's see if this is going to work here. I'm going to speed this up just a little so we can start falling. And there it is. We've completed it. We completed it on the way down, but we completed it. So now, if we do that, we have decoupled as we see the engine float, just drift away. As Valentina patiently waits. And we're going to go ahead and pull the parachute now. And when that gets low enough, the parachute will open. And Valentina should float safely down to the water. The parachute has opened. We're going to speed her up a little bit here. And Valentina has survived her first flight. So let's recover the vessel and see what we got. And she got 0.8 science for a total of 6. Okay, so that's what we used. That's what we recovered. And she got one experience point for that. So we have nothing in research and development that we can do. Both of our missions good. So now let's see what we have. We might be able to do something to get more science. Let's go into the space plane hangar and see what we have. We do not have what we need. So let's go back into the vehicle assembly building. And they want us to escape the atmosphere. Let's actually check what we've done here. So world first milestones, land distance record of 10,000 kilometers. Or, yeah, 10 kilometers. We got the parachute into flight. We tested the swivel liquid fuel engine at the launch site. We have no contracts left. So let's do a little bit more here. Let's see how high they want this one. 60 to 66,000 meters at 50 to 210. And all we have to do is have that. We don't have to be under its power. We just have to have it. So that will work. Not. Right now, let's go ahead and just do this first one. The first one, let's see what it does for us. That gets us to science, but with the altitude they want, I'm going to see how high we can get here. And we're actually going to escape the atmosphere today. So we're going to go for it. So we have our command module, We have the MK1 parachute. We have the decoupler. Actually, before we do that, we want to get, where is it? Thermal. That's a small one. That one's not going to go up with this, but this one will. So this right here we're going to need on re-entry. So now we can grab our decoupler. And let's actually grab three of those with that. And science, let's load up on some science here. Two of those. Do two of those. And two of those. Okay, let's turn these on and see. Okay, so there's that. We're then going to do another decoupler. They wanted, it was the hammer? It was the hammer. Hammer is the bigger one. That will be right there. The center of thrust is a little low, but we're going to see if we can do this. So this is our biggest one yet. So we will call this Atmosphere Breaker 1. Save it, check the staging. It looks like everything is in order. save, and we launch. And there we go. And Jebediah Kerman is back in the pilot seat for this. So let's go ahead and go up. We will see what we can do here. Turn our SAS and our CS on. That will help with our stability. Okay, and our solid fuel is gone. So let's check our map. So this is the first time we're seeing this one. So there's our apoapsis. Once that hits 60,000, that means that we are high enough to break the atmosphere. Checking fuel. We should have enough to do this. There's 60. Oh yeah. 70. We're definitely, yeah. Okay, so we've done it. Right now, let's take some readings from this side. Log the temperature. That's a lot of science. We'll keep that. We will log the pressure data. And the goo. The goo seems to be getting very cold now. So that side there is done. The side with that open is. So let's see where we're at right now. I mean, we're at 61. We've almost done this. So once we escape the atmosphere, which should be any second now. There we go. So we have achieved that one. So now let's go ahead and up, over, and we'll go right back in. And what we want to do is we want to turn that way. So that way when we come back in, we're going to heat up, and we're going to heat up pretty good. So what's going to save us is that heat shield that we put on. So that's going to absorb most of the heat and deflect it away from the craft, and hopefully it will save everything. One of the things that you can also do is you can take the craft and you can get it situated right again. You can take the craft and you can spin it. And that will also help cool it down. But we should be getting some heat. Once we get into the atmosphere, if we're actually going to be going quick enough. Sometimes on these suborbitals, we don't get the heat that we should, that I think we should. And there's the heat, so you can see right there we are starting to heat up. You can see the red. You can also see that we can't pull our chute, so it would be unsafe because that's red. Or it would be catastrophic if it's red. If it's yellow, it means it would be unsafe. So our speed is now slowing down, and that is because we are in the atmosphere. And this will be another water landing, so that's a good thing. Water landings are nice and soft. And now we can pull the chute anytime. And we will go ahead and do that. So you can see that it does have some effect on the surface speed. It's dragging a little bit. So we did not do all the parameters of the hammer contract. So we had the R10 hammer at the time when we were in the altitude, but not the speed. We didn't have the right speed when we were in that altitude. That one's going to be kind of a tough one to do. Probably going to be doing it under liquid fuel powered, just having the hammer on board and seeing if we can get in between those two speeds because that's low speed for that altitude, honestly. And another thing that we can do is we can also jettison the heat shield. You can see that just splash down. And Jebediah is waiting on the return from his first suborbital flight. He is the first Kerbal to break the atmosphere. And there we go. Everything has been done. And one of the things that I didn't do that I should have is I did not do anything with those. I should have done these outside of the atmosphere, but I didn't. The goo escapes into the water. Okay. But we do get stuff for these too. So, okay. So we have everything that we need there. Let's recover the vessel and send Jeb home. He's done well. So we now have a lot of science. We have 68 science. So the temperature scans, the mystery goo observations, the atmospheric pressure scans, and recovering a vessel after a suborbital flight. I can't talk today. This is all the stuff that we used. And Jeb did not gain any experience. So we have 68.8 to spend on research and development. We're going to get general rocketry. We're going to get stability. And because I want these wheels, I want that cockpit. But that's 45. We don't have enough. We cannot do it. So that plan is shot out of the water. So let's actually right now go with that and go into mission control and see if there's anything that we can do real quick. This one we can do, but it's not really worth it, is it? You know what I haven't done? I haven't done this. So that would be cancel. No. I forgot all about this. We can just do this. Save that as, let's call that pod. We should be able to do a quick EVA or extravehicular activity. We can at least do a crew report. That gives us a little bit of science. We will keep that. There we go. EVA for Jeb. So if we'll do an EVA report, that's 2.4 science. Okay, so we can get out, we can walk around. Okay, sure. Yeah, I think we should then go back. So let's recover that. That got us a little bit. Now let's go into the space plane hangar. Okay. And we want to take this and rotate it. We will call that pod 1.1. save that, and we will also throw some science on this. That did not rotate. Save, we launch. And what this should do, okay, so what this should do, we are now on the runway, which is right now just a basic gravel runway. But it should give us completely new science because each one of these buildings is its own area. So we do a crew report. We tell Jeb to get out. There's an EVA report. And then we get him back in. We recover the vessel, and hopefully that gets us up to 45. That gets us up to 47. So with that, we're going to go into research and development, aviation. We will buy that. So with that, this is going to end the first episode of Kerbal Space Program. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you'll be back for episode 2. Thank you so much. My name is Australian, and I'll see you guys later.